Hey guys, welcome back to Dislyte. In today's video, I wanted to take a look at Meredith, or I'm not going to try and say her other name because I say it wrong and people rage at me in the comments. So we'll stick with Meredith. Fair warning, I suck at names in every game I play, so I do apologize. I'll try not to mess them up too bad from now on, but... Meredith. So I've gone ahead and max skilled her. I'm over here on my free-to-play account, so I had a bunch of epic skilling on because I'm not skilling up any units that aren't farmable or free-to-play obtainable from farmable means. Now, I consider her to be in there because free-to-play players, everyone can get her while we're playing here. So I skilled her up. Now, I think her skills are pretty strong. Like, this cooldown is the one thing that you really want. I think this is really strong. I think she's a bit too expensive to skill up when you've got 4, 4, and 4. And, like, you might... Like, so for me, it took me the full 12 to get here. I feel like it's too expensive on her at the moment. Now... where does she fit in? So I feel like she replaces Chang-Pu for a lot of players when you look at modes like the Tower and the Cube Miracle and stuff like that. Because most players, especially free-to-play players or players who haven't had the luck, you're going to have a Gabrielle in your team. And she brings the immunity. So essentially what she brings to the table is she has a very similar kit to Chang-Pu, except instead of the immunity on this ability, she brings the speed buff. And the speed buff, especially in those formats, when you're trying to do a turn denial team, is incredibly, incredibly valuable. It allows you to cycle through faster, get turns faster, reduce cooldowns faster, and then keep the turn bar manipulation, the stuns, however you want to do it, keep them going. So I think that's where she's really going to shine, and I think she'll be okay at that without any skill ups. Obviously, the reduction will help, but I think at this stage, it's too early to say that you should skill her up. There's definitely better 4-stars that are more worth skilling up than her. It's just that she's the only AoE speed buffer that free-to-play players can get. So take that with a grain of salt. That's what it is. I've skilled her up. I wouldn't, on my other account, I'm not skilling her up yet. I don't think she's quite worth it, but she could have, you know, the use. I'd still 5-star her on my other account and get her ready and leave her on that. Now, the way she works, she's essentially Chang-Pu. Like, this skill poisons instead of AP reduction. I was really hoping that this would be multi-hit, but it's not, which is, you know, who cares? Like, poison it's not really a big thing. This one, like Chang-Pu, it's a single target heal. This one doesn't heal as much as Chang-Pu, but it does put the defense up and crit resist on the ally. This is a 3-turn cooldown compared to Chang-Pu's 2-turn. But like I said, in the areas you're looking to use her, it will be the Tower and the Cube Miracle modes where you're trying to deny enemies turns. So hopefully you won't need to heal that often would be the idea. Now, then this one here, now I'll talk about the heal on this one because the heal is actually quite average with this one. When we look at like the Tower and Cube Miracle modes, when you get into the harder modes, now 30% of enemies max HP in those modes is probably going to be more than 50% of hers. So once you get into like the harder stages, you're normally going to be dealing damage equal to 50% of her max HP. So when I look at her HP at the moment, we'll call it 30k. So we've got 30k, so we're normally going to be doing 15k with that. Now, after that 15k damage, 25% of that 15k will be healed to all allies. Now, 25% is that, what's 7.5, 3.75. So about just under 4k, around 4k. Now, we could increase her HP, definitely, by 6-starring her and by finishing off her relics and getting them to plus 15. But at this sort of 32, 33k HP rating, she's going to heal for around 4k with that ability. Also deal about 15k's worth of damage. So it's not horrible. It's not horrible. It's just not the greatest heal. But like I said, the idea is that you're putting her in turn denial teams to get the speed buff, and the heal is just like an added bonus to the kit to keep everyone topped off. And then that is the key, that we are getting the speed buff. So that's where I think she's going to work. When we look at relics, I like her on ocean waves, just so we can... Ideally, you want to get her on ocean waves. Accuracy, don't even worry about it. Accuracy does not matter. It's only for the poison. Who cares? The rest of her kit, you want to focus on. So literally the two things you want to stack are HP and speed. They're the two things that really matter in her kit. And I like it on ocean waves because I want to try and get that chance to reduce the cooldowns, to increase the uptime on the speed buff, to keep my team going faster. So that is the way I would gear her up. This one, I've put her on a shield set just in case something, you know, does get a move in like the first couple turns somehow. At least it gives my team some sort of mitigation available as well. Also, it was all I really had. So you can put whatever you want here. The shielding set is kind of nice, but Ocean Waves, prioritizing speed and HP is pretty much the way I would do it. Accuracy, who cares? Resistance is always okay in those type of modes in case the enemies get a turn so you can resist. But you know, all you want to look for is the speed and the HP. Now, let's jump into a stage and actually have a look at her. So I'll jump into the tower. Now, I do believe she's going to be useful in Fafnir. I've been testing. Fafnir is absolutely crazy. The thing is too fast and he has the slows and stuns. And Fafnir is not a 6-star units to clear it. It's you need better relics and you need to get to, like, my calculations, about 230 speed on all of your team with multi-hits to be able to reliably clear Fafnir. So I need to get better relics for that, but I think she's going to be really handy in that because the speed buff is going to help you outpace the Fafnir. Level 9 Fafnir, I'm cruisy, I can smash that. Level 10, the dude is just way too fast and he cycles through turns and nukes. I'll do a whole Fafnir video, but that's another topic for another day. But if we go over here to the Infinite Miracle, let's jump into a stage. Now, stage 2, this is going to be easy, so the enemies probably won't have that much HP, so we won't heal as much, but you can get an idea for how it's working. So this sort of team that we're looking at, not a full turn denial team, I would swap this eventually, but let's go ahead here. So in this sort of team, my Lucas doesn't have relics on. That's why he's so slow. That kind of screws me. But we can go here. We can just do an armor break, for instance. And now we're going to go straight into this. You can see she does some damage. The healing wasn't too much. I actually didn't see it in time. I think it was just under 2k. But these guys don't have the HP pool that she does. But like I said, in the tower, once you get to the harder stages, 5, 10, 15, 20 and stuff like that, she will be healing for around that 4k based on her HP at the moment. So let's just go ahead here with Drew and just do some nuking. It's actually really easy in these tower stages. Then we can go ahead and stun. If we land them, no, we don't. Let's go ahead and freeze. Got the freeze, nice. But these are the types of teams she'll be used in my opinion. I would probably be swapping out, you know, maybe, I don't know who I'd swap out. Maybe depending on the situation, if you're going for full turn denial, we could swap out both Gabrielle and Drew and just get turn bar manipulation. Something like... who have we got? Medusa, stuff like that. And you can get some real good turn bar manipulation. Like for me on this account, I have a TA. Like if I ran TA, Medusa, and then had a damage build on my, what's his face? On my Lucas, that would be the sort of thing she'd really shine in because we'd have 3 gauge reducers. We'd have 1 unit here with Dahlia with a single target freeze, and then she'd be buffing the speed and keep us topped off. That would be like the kind of team she will really excel in with that speed buff. But let's just auto through, and that's pretty much the way she works. Now, for Fafnir, like I mentioned, I like that her third ability, even though it only does damage once, it still does damage whilst healing, compared to something like Changpu, which I tried in there, and the problem with Changpu is that she won't buff the immunity unless people are injured, and normally by that time you've got heal block, whereas she will go ahead and buff speed even if your whole team's topped off because she wants to deal that damage while you're full and then grant the speed buff. So I think definitely she's going to be viable in Fafnir, but like I said, that's going to be a whole nother video that we'll have to test out on another day. But that is pretty much it for, what's her name again? But what? Meredith. Meredith. I was going to say the other name and I was going to butcher it again. But that's pretty much it for Meredith. Like I said, definitely everyone, I would pick her up. You don't want to run the risk of like she does become meta in something and you don't have her when you could have got her for free. Definitely worth picking up. At the moment, I wouldn't skill up. If you are looking at building her, I'd go for Ocean Waves, prioritizing speed and HP. And that's pretty much all you have to do. Really simple build, really simple use. You just want to keep that speed buff up as much as possible on your team for these tower and cube miracle teams. And she can top you off along the way. Good replacement for Changpu, but once again, without the skill ups, you just have to test her out and see how you go. But putting it at a 5-star, just swapping relics from one of your other healers onto her, it's not the end of the world. So that is going to be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.